So, I was talking to a friend of mine who has dealt with arthritis, since that seems to be our topic, and pain and things. And we used to play ball together years ago, and he got into his 30s and his body started giving out, and knees went, shoulder went, hands went, reflexes went, and he's younger than I am. But anyway, I knew he had arthritis, so I've been dripping on him about our products and dripping him out, making some life changes. And so out of curiosity, I talked to him this week. And I purposely didn't, I better shut this thing off. I purposely didn't didn't share it with guys that I work with on a daily basis. I kept this one. But it was very entertaining, so I'm going to share with you. So I'm talking to him. Now, he's truly, there's an inside joke for people who know me. I'm 49. I see him in my mid-40s. It's because it's in the middle between 40 and 50. It's an inside joke. He truly is in his mid-40s. 44, 45, a few years younger than I am. And dealing with this arthritis. And I said, so, you know, are you open yet to making some changes? No, I'm following my doctor's protocol. I said, okay. How's that going? I said, what's the new prescription? Because again, knowing and seeing him, talking to him on a semi-regular basis, I know he's not playing softball anytime soon. I know he's not doing these other things. Knowing how doctors work, and he goes, well, here's what he's told me. He thinks we've got the drug seems to be managing the pain. I said, okay, what are we doing? About 1,200 milligrams of ibuprofen a day.
How many?
And I went,
6.
that's 6. Yeah, for somebody who must be taking something.
No, I took 24.
Oh, you took 2,400, lovely. Which we'll talk about. Because ibuprofen literally eats ligaments, eats joints, eats cartilage, eats not a good consumption. Okay, we'll get back to here. And I'm going, okay. And he goes, and here's the best part. Now he's excited. He told me I should be sedentary as much as possible. Does this sound familiar?
No, it just sounds funny.
Yeah. And I'm going, you're in your mid-40s. You finally have become successful in business, which means you have some money. He owns his own business. And I'm going, so now the fruit of your labor is you're going to be a sloth until the Lord takes you home. That's your doctor's best advice. And somehow you're thinking I'm nuts. I go, if you do this, do you understand you're accelerating arthritis? Sedentary lifestyle accelerates arthritis. He goes, no. And I said, so, anyway. I share that because I think it's terribly frustrating to a lot of people that are dealing with chronic pain, dealing with arthritis, because the advice doesn't go back to the cause. And so I'm doing a cancer, kind of give you an idea how these are all related. I'm doing a cancer workshop on Monday up in Lindstrom, and the book that I'm reading and the series that I'm involved in literally goes, there's no such thing as cancer. It's not a disease. It's simply a symptom to poor choices. People are volunteering. And that may sound cruel and it may sound whatever, but the same thing happens in arthritis. So I'm going to walk through some basic information just so you get an idea. There's about 200 known arthritises.
What?
We hear of osteo and we hear of rheumatoid, but there are subcultures in those. And there's about 200. There's 100 pretty regular ones, and then the next 100 are pretty obscure. Okay? And so, and what really is arthritis? Anybody, if I were to say, how would you describe what arthritis is? Give me a,
Acid in the joints.
acid in the joints. What?
Inflammation. Itis is inflammation.
Itis is inflammation. So it's just simply more joint related, but it doesn't have to be. There are people that have arthritis in non-joint areas. It seems odd, but it's true. So I said there's 200 subcultures, so there's all sorts of different arthritis. Okay? But it's just simply inflammation. So when we really break down arthritis, understand that your goal is to break down inflammation. Okay? It's not to mask it. Okay? Let me give you an example. The number one prescription for arthritis is what? It's not a prescription. The number one advice is painkillers, but which one in particular? Advil or ibuprofen. Okay? Now, you already heard me say, what's a side effect to Advil? It eats. Now, if it's being eaten, might that be a stress? And what really is stress? Inflammation. So it's perpetuating the pain. Okay? This isn't a highly sophisticated training because it's really pretty basic. When you really look at what arthritis is, it's simply, if you look at the most common, you have a central nervous system, is all nerves come, generally speaking, to a point. And what happens is, somewhere in there, they've gotten stressed, and then there's this acid that'll form over the nerve ending to protect it. It's our body's natural way of protecting. So we're not going to let you have any more pain. That acid's very sticky. It's very difficult to break apart. It's how it works. Okay? And all arthritis is this is chronic enough to where it can even break down the acid, will literally break down nerve endings. Is that repairable? I got asked when, I think, rephrase your question again, was what?
At what point, or is there a point where it's not reversible anymore?
And it's a really common question that people will ask you guys, okay? Well, I don't know if my type of arthritis, your stuff could help. Well, first of all, we're going to talk about our stuff as a one section of what it takes to be healthy with arthritis. Okay? So if I were to sit down with, say your name again. Say your name again.
Mark.
Mark. So if I were to sit down with Mark, who's taking 2,400 milligrams of ibuprofen.
No,
Used
he's
to.
not doing that anymore.
Okay, good. All right. But let's say you were. Okay? So let's go back in time when he was doing that. First thing I'd say is, why are you taking so much? So what were you dealing with at the time?
Basically, the pain that you get from running around and whatever.
Sure. So, did you have like a knee replacement or?
No, I had some ligament surgery.
Okay. So they weren't able to restructure him, get him, did you R&R him?
Yeah.
Okay. So remove and replace, so what happens?
No, I'm sorry, it was just a repair.
Repair, okay. There's R&R, because what they'll do is actually take cadaver ones and then put them in, or a simple repair, because they're fragmented, I would imagine.
Yep.
Okay. So, does the body have the ability to heal, is really what she was asking. And the answer is yes. There has been many cases, if you do your research, where people have shown cartilage to start reforming. Now, is that typically known in the medical profession?
No.
No, if you were to talk to a doctor and they say, is it possible for cartilage to be reformed in the body, what would their answer be?
Absolutely not.
No. Okay? It's the same ones who say your teeth can't be repaired. So can your teeth have a cavity, and if you give it the right nutrition, right acidity, right balance, right water, which we'll talk about the 5 pillars, if you do those things, can your teeth repair? The answer is yes. Okay? Now if it's dead, we can't resurrect the dead. Does that make sense? So if this nerve is dead, can you repair it? No. which is one of the reasons and one of the problems that I have with the most common protocol for arthritis and chronic pain is something that literally kills nerve endings.
What's killing the nerve endings?
Ibuprofen.
Ibuprofen.
It literally eats it. I mean, it literally eats it. Breaks it apart, perforates it, eats it.
Cause that's where you're feeling the pain.
No, it deadens the pain, but it's also eating at it as it's doing. Cortisone is even worse. It's just, we're gonna give you even more centralized deadening, but it eats it. So, let's talk about, okay, we hit 200 different types. There's osteo and rheumatoid, most common. Osteo is wear and tear of joints. It's usually where people think of arthritis. That's the most common. Rheumatoid is an autoimmune deficiency, or literally your immune system needs to be rebuilt so that, anyway, we'll get there, okay? Well, let's talk about chronic pain. What are some side effects to chronic pain? Mood. What?
Pain.
Pain.
Reduce mobility.
Reduced mobility. Anxiety.
Depression.
Depression, big time. Matter of fact, if you talk to one of the people that I talked to dealing with this said, I'm volunteering. And I go, cool. I can't wait for your story. No. I pray every day that I die. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of heavy. You know, like, you have no idea what it's like to be 24/7 in the kind of pain I'm in. And then the drugs that they give me, you know, you're not yourself. I'm really hoping that God takes me soon. And you sit there and you look at this, and so the side effect to this is death. People wanting to die, people doing risky type lifestyles so that they can get cancer and die. They'd rather, I mean, the pain is unbelievable. And so we're going to look at the cause as the solution. Okay? So the cause, what are some things that stress eats? What are some things that inflammation eats? Give it that to counteract the eating of it, and give it enough of it, it'll repair. It eats it because it needs it. It needs it. It eats it. It consumes it. But then arthritis people have about 2 times to 3 times more cancer than people who don't have arthritis. Because of the stress. And the stress needs glutathione, and glutathione is the body's, one of the main body's ammunition, or what you call soldiers. I don't know who said that. It was you, wasn't it?
Army, yeah.
Army. You go in there. So let's talk about the 5 pillars, and then this is literally what everything will be about today. Everything that we do in here will be about these 5. Okay? Moving forward, because we're going to talk about cause and effect. So the first thing you need to do is get a mindset or a path of the mindset. What that means is this. I'm going to call my friend, we'll call him Bob. Okay? We'll call him Bob, since we don't have a Bob in the room. Right? Bob's path was to listen to who? Doctor. Not saying don't listen to doctors, I'm not bashing doctors, but that was his only mindset. He was open to no other thing. So therefore his mindset was ibuprofen. Actually, when ibuprofen isn't enough, then what's the next one that they give you?
Cortisone.
Amoxicillin. So when it's too strong, he'll take amoxicillin. Or not amoxicillin, he takes oxycodone. Excuse me, amoxicillin's yeah, sorry.
No, we're like, what?
Yeah, oxycodone. Okay? So he's going, if ibuprofen is enough, take some more. If that isn't enough, then go ahead and feel free to take oxycodone. He has it with him 24/7. I'm going, that's his path. So we'll call that a strictly doctor path. That's it. I asked him, did he address clean water? No. At all, did he address eliminating heavy metals? No. At all, did he talk about eating alkaline? No. Now mind you, all the research, not because we sell alkaline products, but all the research you can, alkalinity, clean water, eliminating heavy metals, these kind of things I'm going. And I'm like, what do we call him? Bob, I don't wanna say his name, he's on my Facebook, I don't want people to reach out to him, but it's one of those things where you sit back and you go, dude, there's another mindset, and that's called take your own path. Own your path. You have to have a mindset, what I call open-minded. Doctors are trained to do 3 things. One of which is to cut, do nothing, or chemical. That's what they're trained in. I was going to go to medical school. I was already accepted into medical school. I was looking forward to that path. And then all I heard, you know, and I started going in and I started meeting other med students and started hanging around. I wasn't into classes yet, but I wanted to kind of get a feel for it. People who know me, I know that's not a big surprise. I wanted to go see what it was like part way through and halfway through and then start seeing people and I went and got my paramedic's license, so I was around, and I'm going, wait a sec. I heard one thing growing up. Let me ask you if you've ever heard the same thing. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. I heard these kind of, I grew up on a farm. When we had a sore joint, or we were sore working on a farm, because I will tell you, baling hay, even though you're a young buck, or I can tell you, you bale hay all day from dark 30 to dark 30, you're sore. And my grandpa, we'd go out there and he'd find the little alfalfa, the young one, not the big, tall, spindly ones. He'd find a little one, he'd go chew on these for a while. And lo and behold, I wouldn't be sore. So an ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of cure. This isn't prevention. You take your own path, you'll be in prevention. I guarantee you, you're going to do your own research. Research everything I tell you. You should. Don't just say my word for it. Yeah, I've done a ton of research, and I have all sorts of documents and sources. But the reality is, do your own research. So, first of all, you have to have a mindset that you open and own it. Then when you start doing it, then you're going to get into these other sections. I guarantee it. Why? Because I went in and I tried to be, let's put it this way. I'm Christian. And one of the ways that I tried to prove my Christian faith was I tried to be an atheist for a while. I started looking at the world through an atheist mind. And I started researching. And the more I got around it, the more it just didn't seem to make sense to me. Which made more sense that my Christian faith was stronger. Does that make sense? So if you look at it this way, is once you own it, you're going to get into here. You will. This path will start looking at it. You start looking at it. This is absolutely ridiculous. It's the most gentle word I've come up with. Okay? In my preparation, I had a different word, but I won't use that now. If you want to talk to me one-on-one, I'll tell you that word. Okay? What's that?
Fascinating.
That was the word. But I won't do that on stage. Okay. Number 2. Okay? So if you're going to beat arthritis, let's look at your foundation. Let's start with foundation. Okay? Everything. Okay. Gus, have you ever built a house?
No.
Good. So I couldn't ask Mike. Okay? Even with not building a house, what's one of the most important things you can have in your entire house? Foundation. Because if you don't have that, the rest is going to fall down. You can have the best doors in the world, but if your foundation is not sufficient, you're going to have problems. Great windows. I don't know, what windows are the best out there. Even though I've built a lot of homes, there's some really good ones. It's called Marvin, since it's a Minnesota company. Pella, whatever, doesn't matter. You have the best premium that there is. If your foundation isn't set, you're toast. Okay? I'm gonna say the same thing here. Obviously, you know, we're gonna talk about alkalinity and food, and basic, we're gonna talk about supplements, and you need them, we're gonna talk about water. But if this isn't right, the rest is in trouble. What number 2 is, okay, chiropractic. Your central nervous system must be in proper alignment. Okay? Anytime you have a curve, let's call it scoliosis, okay, so it's supposed to look like that. You've got a curvature of scoliosis, am I right? Am I saying that right, Christina? Okay. These spots that are supposed to be like this, these spots, these vertebrae are compressing, sending bad signals. They're finding, in all this research, it's funny what you find when you're doing your research, okay? So they've been trying to figure out why appendicitis happens, okay? So there's all this research and people are not figuring out, but chiropractors have known why appendicitis happens, okay? Because if you're out of whack down here, particularly right about there, your appendix is not going to live. They have found no other common cause. But that one they find. And so, again, you must restore the function or the movement. If you're going to have proper health, you have to. It's your foundation. It's your entire central nervous system feeds off your spinal column. If that's not right, you're in trouble. If that's not right, you're going to create stress, and stress creates inflammation. Stress eats glutathione and omega-3. Eats it. And glutathione and omega are critical to your blood and critical to your immune system. Omega-3 in particular, to your blood, but we'll get to it, okay? So the first thing I'm going to say is if you're going to beat arthritis, one of the things you want to do is make sure you restore function. Get anatomically aligned. I happen to believe, this is a personal belief, and you'll hear belief and facts, okay, so this is a personal belief. I've been to chiropractors who are what I call source of pain chiropractors. So if you're sore here, that's the only spot they'll adjust. We'll go, okay, great, you're sore, we'll adjust you, and you get that sense of relief. The reality of it that research has shown me in my studies, and I'm not a chiropractor, so that's why I said I'm not an expert on that, but to me, if one spot's out of place and it's causing pain, there's probably other spots that may be as well. And so, there's 2 different philosophies in chiropractic. One's called point of pain, one's called anatomical. Okay? And I will tell you that's one of the reasons I continue to go to Christina, because she works the entire spinal column top to bottom. She makes sure I'm straight. And I will tell you it's night and day. I don't get in very much. My headaches come back, my stress come back, my sleep goes down the toilet. No matter what I do, supplement-wise, no matter what I do hydration-wise, no matter what I do eating-wise, that isn't right. I have headaches, can't sleep, tend to be a little shorter, not in height, but in my temperament. Make sense? Okay? So, number 2, in order of significance. So first thing you got to have is the right mindset.
Or it's all for me.
Okay? Because again, I'll say it. How many people do you know have just given up?
Most of them.
Okay? You will meet a lot of people as you approach business or you even approach life that are just plain giving up. My buddy has given up. He's going, I'm not going to live that long anyway, was how in our conversation. I'm kind of laughing. He goes, the amount of stress this arthritis has put on me, it's got to be killing my heart. I'm like, dude, you have kids. You know, don't you want to walk them down the aisle? I mean, he's going, why, you can get hit by a bus tomorrow. I don't walk in front of buses.
He's sedentary though.
He's the, I should have thought of that.
Honestly.
You were quicker than me, Jenna.
You're on the couch.
Okay.
Like, Dad, darn bus came and got me.
So,
So
just
they're
getting
living-
straight makes sense. Now, here's the other thing, restore function. A lot of arthritis is caused from injury. A lot of arthritis is caused from an injury. I'll give an example. People hurt their knee and all of a sudden they didn't get aligned, they didn't get right. Here's some other things, they didn't get restorative blood flow in there. Because what happens on a leg, let's just draw a leg here. Here's the knee, that's as close as I can get. And they get an injury somewhere in here, okay? And all of a sudden, that injury, or maybe it's a ligament, so they've got, on top of the knee and the bottom of the knee, they've got this going on, right? And what the body will do is restrict the blood flow to that area. Why is that?
Keep it from anything.
Keep it from swelling. Now think about it. What are one of the things that happens with chronic arthritis? What do they have all the time? What? Swelling. So now you've got an area. What's the only way you get delivered healing properties in your body is through your what? Blood, and we just restricted it.
With an injury.
So one of the things that I tell people is, one, get anatomically aligned, and two, is make sure that you have a type of massage therapy what actually opens up the blood flow. Yeah.
So, what happens when, like, say, somebody, they're 20 years old, they're playing football, they break their ankle,
Mm-hmm.
but then at 60 years old, that revisits them, that's where they get their arthritis, why?
Because what happened, two things. They're young, so they healed, the bone will heal, but what oftentimes doesn't heal is the blood flow. The body, it takes a long time to heal, and in that time, you get calcification, but you also get a contraction of those arteries and veins. And literally that blood flow can be a restricted blood flow for years.
Is there any way to tell that that's happening?
Well, go ahead.
Okay, I'll work on a massage client, and she'll be like, oh, my neck hurts or whatever. And then I was like, not you.
I'm sitting right here.
Everything hurts on you. No, this was a new client, and she came in, and she's like, my neck hurts, I'm working on her neck, and I'm like, is there anything else, that you had happen that you want worked on? She's like, no. I go into her wrist, and I'm like, what happened? She's like, well, I guess years and years ago, I broke my wrist. I'm like, yeah, you did. Because it's above and below the joint. It's injuries that are in there forever.
So, again, they're in there because they haven't been let go, so to speak.
Right.
Restoring that blood flow, and this is why I talk about restore function. Restore function is not, one of which you gotta have your spinal column right. The other is that point of injury. So again, whether it's a knee or ankle or wrist, is making sure, and one of the ways you can tell on yourself is that, you ever met somebody and go, oh, I got knots all the time, or my wrist gets sore, like in her case, quickly. Okay? Well, that's your body's way of saying, I'm having restricted blood flow.
And restricted movement.
And therefore, with the restricted blood flow, then you have restrictive movement.
Doesn't want to go there anymore.
Okay? So those are ways you can tell. And that's one of the reasons I always tell people that if you have an injury, get it all checked. Because if you deal with it right away, it's so much easier than dealing with it 20 than waiting until you're 60. But it's because of this, it never got released. A lot of what I deal with that your wife, Christina, takes care of me from is from years of playing college football. I haven't been in a car accident, but I've played sports. I've dove. I've gotten more concussions than I want to admit. Because if it's on tape, my wife might find out. So we'll just leave it at that. Had one last year at this time, setting up a deer stand. Had another one. Okay, I've had lots of concussions. That is why she continually has to make sure it's right, the restricted blood flow. You've worked on me some. But over time, once that body is healed enough, then it shouldn't come back. The problem is, most people don't go enough to eliminate it, therefore it becomes chronic. That's why I said, this becomes before this. Getting things right, or it can be all at once, but I will tell you, this has to be critical. Getting that right and getting the blood flow right. Because the injuries, and again, how you can tell, just your body will tell you. You know, that person that was waiting in their 30s and 40s and 50s, they had restricted movement, they had pain, they had early onset fatigue, that's another way. Man, this arm, it just seems like it wears out so quick. That's years of injury or years of not getting it right, if that makes sense. Could be in a knee, okay? That answer it? Okay, good. All right. So any more questions on restoring function? Okay, good. All right, 2 or 3. Let's talk about nutrition, okay? So nutrition I break down in this way, okay? Is getting back to the basics. First thing I'm going to talk about nutrition is getting back to the basics. There's all sorts of websites, all sorts of books on eating alkaline. Okay? I'm going to actually have a handout. We're going to do a cancer class on Monday, but we're going to do another cancer class down here in November. We got the 21st, so what's Tuesday? The 17th. We're going to do a cancer, and I'll actually give people a diet plan, an alkaline diet plan, what I'll call the cancer killer plan. Okay? And so, but if you want to eat alkaline, go back to the basics. As much green leafy stuff, non-cooked. You can eat something particularly non-cooked that's ideal. We were talking about potatoes. Potatoes get a bad name out there. Cooked potatoes is simple starch. It's just sugar, it's all it is. A raw potato has one of the highest enzymatic factors in all the things you can eat.
What? How do you eat it?
It's wonderful for you.
But it's right under the peel.
It's right under the peel, he's correct. But you can eat the whole thing because there's so much enzymes. It's the same thing. If you have raw milk, you get some calcium. You have homogenized pasteurized milk, which is cooked, it steals calcium from you. So when you have a raw potato, high enzymes. You have a cooked potato, it steals enzymes. And literally creates the bad enzymes in your flora, in your intestinal system. So it steals it and creates more of the bad stuff. Do you understand? I mean, the difference in raw. So when I say get back to the basics, as much raw as you can eat. Fruits and vegetables. I'm going to read you an article. WebMD is now the most visited medical site in America. It's the #1 site for people to go to when they have questions about medical that they don't ask their doctor. Okay? It's #1. Okay?
What is it?
WebMD.com. WebMD.com. #1 site. Matter of fact, they're blowing every other medical site off the chart. They're the #1. So let me read you what WebMD states about arthritis. Nutrition plays little or no role in treating arthritis. There's a quote. Okay, now I want to give you the visual because it really makes me angry. This is one of my favorite visuals that I'll show you because it makes me angry. This is called, I'm not going to write on the words, but pretend this is a paragraph. So at the beginning of the sentence, it reads, right? What did it say?
Nutrition plays little to no role.
Little to no role. So it's like little, no role. Right? Same paragraph. Let me read further. Where is it? There it is. Many people see substantial relief from consuming omega-3, injections of glutathione, and curcumin in their daily diet.
In the same paragraph?
Same paragraph. They don't even go and hide it. And the word was substantial relief. They don't even go anywhere else. Same paragraph.
I love WebMD. Isn't that because do they sell
The exact same paragraph, little verbiage, little different. MedicineNet.com is the second most site. MedicineNet. You're looking at different sites. Basically saying the same thing. Little or no role in treating arthritis, but people see relief with omega-3 and curcumin. They didn't mention injections of glutathione. Okay? So, going back to the basics. Staying away from red meat. Red meat, particularly red meat. Okay, let's talk about red meat real quick. So, if you have red meat that's bought in a store, let's call it Joe Bob's Market, because I don't want to put any market to my thing, just in case Rainbow or Cub or anything else, they watch it, then they say I'm slamming them. So Joe Bob's Market, or any other market you would buy in a traditional meat supermarket. Or you go and have it butchered yourself and it's organic, non-nitrate sprayed. Critical. Okay, let me show you explain the real difference. When you have a cow that has been properly cured and you have a steak from it, will you have very much blood? The answer is no. Okay? But if you have a cow that you buy in a store, they have red in there, what do we all think it is?
Blood.
What is it really?
Food coloring.
Food coloring and
Nitrates.
nitrates.
What do the nitrates do?
Perforate your heart, perforate your liver,
What are they supposed to?
kill your,
Preserve.
it's a preservative.
All the fun things.
Yeah.
Keeps it
Because all the-
chicken red, so don't turn gray.
Tremendous amount of free radicals when you cook it.
What?
You grill it and you buy it in a store, it's extremely full of free radicals, particularly if you char it. Nitrate and how it reacts to high temperature, bad juju.
And your grass-fed beef versus your corn-fed beef are a difference between omega-3 and omega-6 also.
You,
Yeah.
okay,
They're treated too.
so,
Back in my meat.
I thought you knew this.
Well, I
Yeah.
sort of.
alright, so, eating. What are some better things to eat? Fish, particularly fish that you caught, ideally. It was so much fun this week to, what day did I tell you I grilled? Was that Sunday?
It's Sunday or Monday night?
Sunday or Monday night?
Monday night, I
What-
think it was.
Yeah. Anyway, I caught a salmon when I was out in Seattle with Scott Dalloway, and it was a big one. It was 32 pounds, right in that range, you know, length and girth and all that stuff. It was awesome. Biggest one I've ever caught, and it was exciting. But the best part was my kids love walleye, sunfish, northern. If we gill catch a bass, because I don't want to let it go and just die, you know, we'll keep that. Otherwise, we catch a release bass. But they're used to Minnesota fish. Salmon, not so much. They don't like the flavor, the oil, the fishy taste. And I'm going, so I'm telling them, I said, I'm going to grill salmon. I YouTubed a clip, and I saw how to grill it because I'm a horrible cook. I'm the worst cook you ever met. That's why raw is really good. Anyway, so anyway, I'm grilling it, and so anyway, they tell me how to grill. I said, look, you gotta try it. I said, this is Dad's biggest salmon he's ever caught. It's only my second salmon I've ever caught, but they didn't, get into that details. And I said, you gotta have at least a little bit. So both of them took a chunk about this big. Okay? Now my son eats as much as I do, even though he's 11. His 11-year-old sister is always eating like a bird. So for her to grab this much, no big deal. My son to grab this much, I'm like, are you sick?
Right.
He's like, it's, I know, Dad, you caught it, so I'll try it. Yeah. We had salmon for every day. I mean, today they had some. Must have been Sunday, because we had some Monday night. That's right, must have been Sunday. We had it Monday night, Sunday. They both went back in, got more salmon. They couldn't believe the difference in taste. It had nothing to do with fresh. It had to do with the fact that it's a real salmon caught from the ocean. It's not a store-bought, it's not some farm-fed, it's not full of GMOs. It's real fish. And they couldn't believe the difference in taste. It was phenomenal. And I will tell you, we've got some left because it was a big old salmon. We'll cook it again this weekend, even though we just had it for 3 days. They have no problem, because we are Irish Nation. I make some, yeah. But if I talk about buying salmon in a store, no. Difference in taste, okay? So anyway, going back to fish is great, poultry's great, try to get as much as you can without GMOs. There's a huge difference. If you haven't heard, Russia just banned GMOs as an entire can't even be brought in the country. McDonald's had to shut down operation in Russia until they could figure out where to get meat that wasn't GMO. They closed McDonald's because, okay, so it's huge. All right, let's talk about supplements. Did I spell attacked right? Yeah.
Even I know that one.
Yeah, that's all right. I didn't know. Supplement to attacked, what does that mean?
Protect the, viruses. Protect.
Close.
Well, whatever the stress is eating, that's what you need to overfeed yourself to counteract it.
Correct. Okay? So when you think of, we already know that arthritis is what? Inflammation. I was right, there we go. Inflammation. Okay? Inflammation will eat enzymes. It'll really attack it. Stress kills off enzymes in your system by nature. So if you have a high stress job, you are lacking enzymes. If you're lacking enzymes, you can't be healthy. This is your immune system. Bar none. So when you hear the same kind of talk about with cancer, guess what? That's why this right here is why people with arthritis have higher incidences of cancer. Okay? So enzymes, it literally attacks them. What's the other thing it attacks? Glutathione. It doesn't attack it, it needs it. Inflammation needs glutathione. Here's why. Glutathione is your body's sending agent. It's chemical, so to speak. Not really chemical, but it's, I guess, chemical. Okay? What's that? A molecule. There we go. It sounds better. I like her word. We'll borrow Becca's word. Molecule sends it in, and that because that's how it's going to restore. That's its way of going in there and going, I need to repair this nerve ending. I'm going to send glutathione. Well, if you have chronic pain, it's constantly sending glutathione. Constantly. Okay, if it's constantly sending glutathione, what's the rest of the body doing? Suffering. Okay? So you have to look at, again, what's it's attacking? Glutathione. What's another thing it's attacking? Omega-3. Omega-3 have to do with the cellular integrity of all cells in your body. Same glutathione. Okay? So they're connected. So when you think of a cell, let's call this a nerve cell. Let's call it a brain cell. If you have a headache, you have inflammation of the brain. Not a big shock. Pain, inflammation. Okay? Those cells are being stressed. Where's it going to send omega along with glutathione? It's going to send them there. Does the rest of the body then lack omega-3s?
Yes.
Yes. So you should up omega-3s and up glutathione. Okay? So when you talk about eating alkaline and supplement, do we address enzymes?
Yes.
Do we address glutathione? Because a high alkaline diet makes glutathione better, okay, than an acidic diet. Matter of fact, acidic diet doesn't make any glutathione. Okay? How about omega? Yeah. Fishes, poultries, even some vegetables will have omega. Okay? And then the other one is electrolytes. Okay? Electrolytes are the core building mechanisms in your body, period. So if a body is stressed, it's going to burn up electrolytes. Electrolytes are potassium, magnesium, calcium, and sodium. The American diet's so full of sodium, that's one of the reasons we don't put sodium in, but it is something you need on a regular basis. Okay? Doing some research for people with, what's that where you retain water? Edema. And all of a sudden, lo and behold, they're finding out that edema is not a lack of water that you gotta cut back on. Okay, so they're going, oh, you have edema, you have too much water. Okay, that's what they're saying, right? If you go to a doctor, what do they tell you if you have edema? What do they give you? Water pill. Because you have too much water, that's why you have edema. No, you have edema because you're lacking water. You're lacking sodium of the right nature. And so the body goes, oh crud, I'm going to store everything I can because I don't want to ever run out. I'm lacking it. That's edema. Okay. How about anybody who has, anybody heard of something, I don't know, it's really rare, very obscure, you probably don't know anybody with kidney stones or gallstones. I know it's extremely rare, right? We wouldn't know anybody who's had those, right? So what's a doctor tell you to do when you have kidney stones? Cut back on what? On what? Calcium. What is really kidney stone? Calcium. So logically say, oh, you have extra, so that's why they're in your kidneys. So cut back. How do I know? 2 months ago I went to the doctor and I said, I'm having these pains right here. And he goes, oh, you're probably forming kidney stones. What should I do? Maybe this was 3 months ago. And he goes, well, you need to cut back on calcium. Why is that? Well, if the body's storing it, you have extra. And I look right at him and I go, have you ever heard of feast or famine? When you're in famine, what does your body do? Stores everything. I look right at him and I go, I don't have a pain in my kidneys. I now have a pain in my heart because what you're telling people is hurting them. So I go, do your research. Do your research. Kidney stones are because same thing with edema. What happens here is the body is burning these up and the body has no chance to be healthy. Therefore, arthritis can never be reversed. If you are lacking in enzymes or glutathione, omega, or electrolytes, your body can never go out of arthritis. Any one of these four. A high alkaline diet is going to give you a lot of these. Probably not at the dose you need if you have arthritis. Okay? You could theoretically get a fair amount of enzymes if you're going to eat 80 or 90 or 100 different types of greens. If you're going to have 2 or 3 or 4 different types of greens, you are never going to have enough enzymes. Is that it? So, a lot of people, I eat healthy. How many of you ever heard that? Yeah. Are you eating 70, 80, 90 different types of greens on a daily or at least every other day basis? No? Then it is impossible to have enough enzymes. If you don't have enough enzymes, you can't have enough electrolytes. Well, electrolytes are your building blocks of your body. Calcium builds your what? Structure. Potassium regulates what? Water. And how much water are we roughly? 75, 80%. On a good weekend bender, maybe 90. I've never drank in my life, but you get my, I was trying to lighten it up. You guys are so serious. Okay? Magnesium regulates what? Your heart. Electrostimulation. Those are the basic building blocks. If you don't have spark, what don't you have? Life. I mean, I do this all the time. EKG, good day? Yep, you need. Bad day. Lack of magnesium. Most headaches is your body screaming, I don't have enough magnesium. They say between 95 and 100%. There are many researchers saying headaches that are not structurally related.
Okay.
It's just your body's simple way of saying, I don't have enough magnesium.
Okay, when you do
Yeah.
have a headache, how do you know what it is from? How do you know if it's structural or?
Piece of cake. Go in and get properly adjusted. And if you still have a headache, it's magnesium. I will tell you, I'll go in sometimes with Christina, and she'll adjust me and my ears will stop ringing, cause I'm kinda, I don't get in as much as I should, okay? We're busy, life's busy, my kids and coaching and doing trees and everything else, life's busy. Heck, we don't hardly get a chance to talk, my life's so busy. So what happens is, I'll go in and get adjusted, and if I still have a headache, I'll just drink neutralizer. Done. Instant. I mean, we're talking 2 minutes or less, my headache's gone. So if I'm structurally aligned, she does her thing, and I'm going, I still have a headache, then I know I'm just lacking magnesium.
This works for people that have chronic migraines.
Chronic migraines, again, over 90%, just simple lack of magnesium. Lack of magnesium. And or, with chronic, they're usually dehydrated. But they lack it, they go to magnesium, and the other one is they're probably dehydrated, which we'll talk about a little bit. Okay, so are we understanding supplements? Okay, so even if you eat right, the basics, you're probably not getting enough if you have arthritis. You have a question?
No.
Oh, you look like you had that confused look.
That's just
Where's
my
that?
face.
Wow. She's not coming Saturday then.
Yeah. No, we already chatted, she knows I'm gonna tease her. Okay, let's talk about water real quick. Okay? They say 75% of all people are dehydrated. No, what? I got it wrong. 90%, excuse me, 90% of all people are dehydrated 75% of the day. Okay? And if you're dehydrated, you're definitely in trouble. Okay? So, what's good clean water? Alkaline water is ideal. That would be number one. You can have good alkaline water. Okay? If you're going to have a straight RO, non-alkaline water, definitely add our neutralizer to it. Add some mineral base. Critical. Okay? Because now it's going to stay pure, plus you're going to get those electrolytes. And especially if it's RO water, it's going to draw in our neutralizer even quicker than what we already do.
What is RO?
Reverse osmosis. Good question.
So what you get at like the co-ops and stuff?
Some will have RO. Usually at a co-op, they're going to just run it through a carbon filter.
I never drink distilled.
What's that?
I said I never drink distilled water because they'll die.
No, that's not true. Take distilled water, put our neutralizer in it, you got good clean water and mineral based. Water is meant to have minerals. Okay? Just the easiest way to word it is, water is meant to have minerals. It wants minerals. Your body wants minerals in its water. Doesn't want the chemicals. So anytime, and again, I used to work at Culligan, I was a water analyst. I know it seems weird for my personality, but if I want to do that kind of stuff, my brain works that way, I just don't like to. Does that make sense? It's just painful. It's like going to the dentist. It's never fun. Even if she's cute. It's just never good.
It's never good.
So what happens as a water analyst, I started studying how water works and how the body works within water. Because that was how I got into water analyzing with Culligan. But the reality of it is what happens with water is it attaches to things. It's very attachable. Okay, by its nature. It loves to attach to things. That's why chemicals get in there. And they don't filter out. Like if you have water and you add water and oil, they don't mix. Why is it that chemicals mix in there so well? Because the water attaches to things. So what you want is you want to have good clean water. Okay, you can get in distilled water. Again, you've heard there are some theories you can't drink distilled water. It's dead water. Well, okay, if I had a choice between chemicals or clean water, what do you think I'm going to pick? Clean water. What's an ideal way to have water?
With minerals.
With minerals.
Clean with minerals.
Clean with minerals. So again, I don't care what system you have. There's lots of systems out there. Culligan makes them, Kangen, there's lots of different systems. I'm not going to go into it. The difference that you want is you want clean, add mineral, ideal. Because now what will happen is, if you add mineral, it's not going to, even if you put it in, what's that chemical in plastic?
BPS.
What is it?
BPS.
BPA.
BPA.
BPA. Thank you, BPA. I knew you were close. BPA. it won't pull it out of the plastic if you add mineral to it. If you let it sit in there without any mineral to it, it'll start pulling the chemicals out. That's where that came from, is they would run it through these systems, very, 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 very clean water, and then they would put it into plastic and it would pull the plastic out. Well, all they would have needed to do is add a little mineral base, it wouldn't pull the plastic out. The water wants to attach. Once it's attached, it's like it's married. Once it's attached, it's going, I'm good. I don't need you. It really is how it works. It's crazy. So, again, go back to good, clean water. How much water should you drink a day? Half your body weight in ounces. It's the most common. Again, I resent these glorified, you should have 8 glasses a day, 12 glasses a day. Okay? Can you imagine, all of us are aware of, or at least most of us, Becca was just in a competition. Okay? She was working out sometimes 3 times a day, or more. Sometimes 4, 5?
No.
4.
No, twice.
Twice.
2 a days.
2 a days.
Plus her
One
workout
in
job.
saran wrap.
Yeah. Yes, I was gonna not add that, but since you threw it out there. And one of which was in saran wrap. Okay?
Sweat?
We don't.
I just sweat a lot.
Yes. So can you imagine if she went to here and the doctor said, without knowing her situation, she goes, how many glasses does the doctor recommend a day? The most common number is 8 glasses a day.
Like 8 ounces off her weight right now, right?
Does that make sense? There's no possible way she would have survived her competition. She literally would have not survived to her competition. She would have literally been in a hospital for treatment, which she may have to anyway for doing those competitions, but that's a different story.
Whatever.
Okay? So again, not that this is bad, but they look at it as minimum to sustain life.
2 gallons.
That's their prescription. And they say 8 glasses a day. Minimum sustain life. RDA is a balance of 2,000 people at a minimum level to sustain life. That's where the RDA came from.
I thought only half a gallon though.
It's nothing. It's, yeah.
Right.
So again, most common, natural, holistic, to live your life at an optimum level that you're seeing is half your weight in ounces. Okay? Now, if you have your half weight in ounces, but then you're working out extremely hard, might you need to add some more?
Maybe a little.
Yeah. Okay? So be your own, understand your own body. Fair enough? Okay. Activities. What's one of the things that arthritis people struggle with?
4 glasses of water.
Moving. Now, if they don't move it, their body doesn't create a hormone, and it doesn't break apart the acids that are on the nerve endings. You have to move. You have to. You have to get active. Now, you may have to do different things. Let me give you an example. I've got it, again, we'll use, what do we call him, my buddy? Bob. So Bob, it's one is in his knees and the other in his ankle. Okay, that's where the arthritis is really bad, particularly in his right leg. He's going, they're just going to give me a new knee and hopefully they'll have a new ankle and down the road and then I'll be able to move again, but they won't do it until I'm in my 50s. Okay, so literally he was going to try and get a new Social Security number, lie about his age, and so he could accelerate the replacement. I kid you not. He's instead of trying this stuff and living under the 5 pillars. Anyway, I digress. What happens is,
Seems like more work that way.
it does.
I need
So
to do
he's
it.
got a bad knee and bad ankle in his one leg. His ankle is shot because his knee is.
Right.
He can get it repaired, so on the ankle, and now also his hip is starting to go because his knee and his ankle. It's now spreading the joy. And I said, dude, you need to get active. You can't be sedentary. You have to get active. You have to release an hormone. So he goes, well, I can't. And I said, sure you can. Get a recumbent bike and pedal with your left leg.
Aqua aerobics, I mean.
Aqua, anything. Although
That's what I'm saying.
aqua aerobics, I get a little concerned with arthritis Because what are they already getting beat up on? Their immune system. Then you add in saturating your body with chlorine. So I get a little apprehensive when you start talking about high levels. Now, if they're going to do all of our protocol, take all of our products, all day long, because it's going to get rid of the chlorine. We're not going to expose the bodies to different types of soaps, those kind of things. Okay, which we'll get to. All right, so getting active, I said, look, that'd be one way. Or I said, or you could get on, I said, since your knee and ankle is basically locked, I said, why don't you get one of those Nordic tracks,
Oh, no, yeah.
where you're not really moving those joints, mostly in your hip. Your hip is sore because those are sore, but if you could lock in and do that, there's ways that you can do that. I said, you've got to do it. I said, don't go out and do jump rope. Right? I mean, beating on your body. Don't go out and start running. Because he had the doctor before, this doctor said he should run. Rebounder, absolutely. But he won't. I mean, again, here's the thing I'm going to tell you. Work with people at a level they're willing to commit to +1. So my buddy would never go on. Now, down the road, once, again, I'll get him. Y'all know me well enough. If I care about you, I'm going to get you. And I care about him. We've been friends for a long, long time. Care about him. I'm going to get him. He's going to eventually, because I'll continue every time he has a new doctor, and every time I'm going to, hey, so what's the latest? And again, right? Stay on him. Get active, but +1. Rebounder's great, but he won't even consider that, but that'll be down the road. What are some other things he could do? That's some of the bad knees. Arm stuff. He didn't have arthritis, it's in his knee, hip, and yeah, absolutely. Develop that core. She's back here doing mock sit-ups. Okay? Now, this is a sit-up, whether it's on the ground or on a machine. This is not. That's a hip flexor. Where's he sore? His hip. Okay? Anybody who tells you this is a back is an idiot.
Really? It's not any-
This is a back movement.
Yeah, that's true.
Because your back is staying the same when you do this.
Yeah, no, they're just an idiot. Okay? I train trainers. I've trained rehabbers. I've trained, and again, if I could, this is a hip movement.
Movement, yeah.
Okay? Puts a lot of pressure on your what?
Lumbar.
Lower lumbar. What else is back there? You ever heard something called a sciatic nerve? Tremendous stress, especially when you had weight up here and they're moving that. The sciatic nerve is getting beat to heck. That was close. Getting beat to heck. Because it's not a back movement. This, think of it this way. If I punch somebody in the gut, the recoil around the punch, that's a back movement. Then they stand up straight, back movement. This is not a back movement. So a sit-up is not a back movement. A sit-up is just a wrap around a fist on the ground. Okay? So getting active, and then getting active smartly. Again, own it. Getting active, own it. Know the truth about body mechanics, kinesiology. Know the truth. That's why I use that as an example. I go to the gym, and I see these people, and I see trainers go, oh, let's go do back for a little bit. And they're over there, they got 150 pounds, 200 pounds, and the girl weighs, I kid you not, the last time I was there, I got so upset, I literally roasted this guy. I haven't seen him back there, I was quitting a week anyway. So I just went over and I go, dude, she weighs like 180 pounds. He goes, 195. You weighed her, I'm impressed. At least you did something. And he was sitting there, and she was pushing 140 pounds on a back movement. Like this. And she was going about this speed. That machine was bouncing off her back. She was going fast enough. And I go, dude, you might as well just stab her in a sciatic nerve and just end it. Own it. No good body mechanics, but you've got to get active. Releases the hormones. Have to. Yeah.
You need to explain what kinesiology is?
the study of body movement, proper movement, okay? Let me give you an example. Let me give you another one real quick. Is this, how many of you have ever seen somebody do this movement? Yeah, is that a bicep curl? Yes. Is it a good one? No. No, it is not a good one. What does it put a tremendous strain on? Let me simplify it. Mike, 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago, he had to replace his tire. Right? And so he's got this wrench and the handle's about this long. Heavy duty. Okay, I don't know squat about mechanics, but I do understand engineering. So he starts trying to crank the bolt out with this short handle. Did you move it? No. So what did he do?
Add a pipe to it.
He added a pipe to it. Extend the lever.
Yep.
Putting leverage. And then he went like this, and then he went like this. And then once it was all nice and loose, or the ligaments were torn to be heck. Oops, did I say that out loud? So what's a much better movement for a bicep? Take away the bad leverage. This is a proper bicep movement. Not this, think of the wrench. Think of the long pipe. This is a long pipe. This protects the bicep joint. That's kinesiology. Understanding safe strength movements. Critical. And if you're dealing with somebody with arthritis, have them see a professional. If they don't know good how to move, what to move, have them see a professional. Have them see Becca. They need chiropractic. Hey, even if you're not anywhere near Christina, do you think she knows somebody else? Can she network? Absolutely. So own it. But you got to understand the basics. This is not a good leg movement. First thing I do when I train people is I go, oh great, show me what you do for a leg lift. And they'll be over there. And you see that little thing bounce up off their thing. They're going like this. You go, man, that is so awesome. How much longer do you want to use that knee? And I go, here, we'll do it my way and we'll see if you notice a difference. Do we notice a difference? That's how I recruited Becca. Anybody want to know how I recruit Becca? Everybody wants to know how you recruit in this business. Here's how I recruit Becca. I'm like, yeah, you're a really good trainer. Would you like to know more? Yeah. Do you think you could survive? Now picture, looking at me, I wasn't that much, I was a little lighter, but not much. Going to her and saying, we'll see if you could survive my workout. Did it work? 5 years later, we're still together. You understand? That's understanding. The first machine I took her to, I said, why don't you show me what you do? I'll show what I do. And she's going, holy crap. That's the difference. Understanding kinesiology. It's important. Okay? We can't go into all of that. We could do, if anybody wants to know about proper learning, working out, and those kind of things, I've been trained by one of the senior Olympic trainers named Keith Spenwin. I was his class side for a long time. If he saw what I look like right now, he'd kill me. But anyway, I digress. But yes, we taught that for a long time. Understand when you have arthritis, and I'll tell you, I've taken people in their 80s and 90s, had the same workout I took Becca through. Exact same. Because this movement works whether you're 20, 30, or 90. This should have never been taught. Ever. But you still see people doing it. This is, protects your shoulder, protects your elbow, protects your wrist, maximum contraction of the bicep, everything you want it to be. Okay. Sweating. All right. Understanding activity. How often should you be active if you have arthritis?
Every day.
Every day. If you're not dealing with arthritis, you should at least get active 5 days a week. What does active mean? You elevate your heart for 30 to 45 minutes. Just elevate your heart rate. That's going to make your heart stronger. It's going to create blood flow, release some hormones. Ideally, do some lifting weights within that half an hour. Okay? Ideally. But again, even if it's straight cardio, you're still getting the effects for arthritis. You can just hop on a bike, hop on something, raise it. But ideally, 15 minutes of bike, 15 minutes of active moving while you're lifting weights. Try not to let that heart get too slow. Make sense? Okay. Toxins. Toxins fall into a couple of different categories. This way. Okay? So, what happens with arthritis is they're finding out people with arthritis, somewhere in the neighborhood of 96 to 98%, depending on what study, have high levels of heavy metals. So they have high levels of heavy metals. They're finding out with people with the same types of injuries, the same type of things, unless it's Lyme disease related, don't have heavy metals. So in other words, they have the same injury. We've got two people, let's say they're the same body type, same age, same everything. She has high level, I'll be mean to her, feel better? So she's got high levels of heavy metals. She doesn't, they have the same injury. The ones with heavy metals will develop into arthritis. The ones without, generally speaking, doesn't. That's a big issue with arthritis is heavy metals. So, yes, people with arthritis have a higher metal rate of heavy metals. They have a much higher number, higher on the scale of heavy metals. Heavy metals creates inflammation. Where does heavy metal store? Liver, brain, and joints. Those are the three places it generally stores. So, again, heavy metals, bad juju when it comes to arthritis, but just really in health in general. What's one of the only things they've ever found, research, documented, medical journals, all the happy fun stuff, what's the only thing they've ever known consistently gets rid of heavy metals? Glutathione. The only thing. They've tried other things. There's some research now where ginger you'll see a lot, like people will say, what's some supplements, they'll say, we have this.
It has glutathione naturally.
It does. That's why they're saying it gets rid of heavy metals.
Do you have to eat it raw?
Yes, you should have ginger raw. But ginger is high levels of glutathione, gets rid of heavy metals, not a big shock.
Can you absorb it out of the ginger, the glutathione?
You can, because it gets to where?
Lower intestine.
Lower intestine,
Because it's with food.
because it's with food.
In food.
What about like the way they pickle it or whatever, does the vinegar kill that?
Yeah, well, no, vinegar in itself really isn't that bad for you. Matter of fact, there's a lot of people who have a pretty regular dose of vinegar to keep their health up. So again, that's not gonna hurt it. Most ideal way to eat anything is the way, and again, I don't know everybody's belief system, but I'll just share mine, is the way God intended. So you get ginger, mince it up, use it. That's the ideal. Anytime you change it, even with vinegar or cook it,
So no ginger.
process it, not good. Make sense? The closer you can get it how it was originally sourced, back to the basics, the better. So ginger's great if you add it in water. Ginger's great. I mean, you can have it a lot of different ways.
Ginger beer.
Ginger beer. I'll
It's
have to take you.
non-alcoholic.
It's
I'll take
not,
a-
it's very.
Basically
yeah,
ginger
it's-
ale.
It's ginger.
Oh, ginger ale? I don't want ginger ale.
It's ginger ale.
It
It's
actually
very
burns
ginger.
going down.
You'll
Okay.
grow hair
Get
in
the
your chest.
extra.
I'll grow hair on my chest like that.
On top
You
of the
have-
hair. It's just.
I think you should lay off of that stuff.
You do realize people already razz me about how much hair I have on my chest. I'll just go there. Okay, so one of the, we talked about eliminating heavy metals. It's a toxin, okay? Lots of tests to see if you have, yeah.
Question, you know, been well known that the silver fillings, is there, other than removing them, is there anything that you can do?
Yeah, actually, silver fillings, it isn't the silver that's the
It's
problem,
mercury
it's
in
the mercury.
Right, exactly.
And it's heavy metal. So, again, what gets rid of heavy metals?
Right.
Glutathione.
Glutathione.
So, if you have mercury fillings, you have heavy metals in your system. You have bar none. Matter of fact, if you ever want to see a video on it, you can just see, you can watch somebody who drinks coffee, and they have this, they can see literally the gas of the mercury come off the tea.
I've seen that.
Okay, so again, if you have fillings and you have that are mercury, you have, or silver, you have mercury in your system. So glutathione will get rid of it. So again, somebody who's got silver fillings, I would say, you know what? You have even a bigger reason why. Because what are some side effects to mercury poisoning? Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, that's right, your brain function.
You even
Oh,
use
not
my
being
term.
mean,
No,
I
you
just,
even, you use my term.
yeah, I mean, what's another one? Dementia, Alzheimer's,
Oh, that's right, yeah.
okay, arthritis,
No.
did you hear that? Arthritis, if you have silver fillings, you have a lot higher, it's against heavy metal. It's an inflammation, you bet, it's a heavy metal. Heavy metal and arthritis go hand in hand. Okay, so thank you for doing that. So again, eliminating those. What's some other ways you can get rid of that? Get them out of your mouth. It's expensive, but yeah.
I mean, they're always there, it's not the metals.
It never gets rid of it.
Yeah, there's always some, it's a gas, it comes off as a gas. It doesn't come off as a, I mean, it literally is you, anytime you get a, I think it's 90 degrees or, no, here,
Well,
85
any-
degrees, it
any
literally
friction.
gasses out. Any friction,
Any
yeah.
friction, so the action of chewing.
Yeah.
The other thing too with the metal fillings too is as they age, the metal expands and over time it cracks your teeth.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, eventually, the longer they're in there, the more dental work you're gonna end up having later because it wrecks the teeth that way too.
Yeah. There you go. Okay, so what are some other toxins you need to eliminate? Household. Why is this so important?
They're there all the
Absorbed through the
time.
skin.
Absorbs through your skin.
You're stuck in the house.
In household cleaners, what, how do you say that silly word? Sulfate,
Sodium lauryl sulfate?
sodium lauryl sulfate, thank you. It is an inflammatory. It literally creates inflammation even if it's not there. So in other words, you've got a perfectly healthy, we'll call this a nerve ending, got a perfectly healthy nerve ending. By its nature, sodium lauryl sulfate creates inflammation on the endings, nerve endings, by its nature. Now, if you already have inflammation, particularly if it's arthritis, means high level of inflammation, and you add an accelerant to it, how does that go? How does that work? Bad juju. So when you think of household cleaners that have that, things like soap, shampoos, dish soaps, laundry soaps, all of them have sodium lauryl sulfate. All of them. You can go in and do your research on, and again, all of these kind of things I want you to check on.
I
But-
believe it's a degreaser, so anything where you're trying to get rid of oils or get rid of grease, it's gonna have it in it.
Yeah. So, again, those are things that people, that's one of the reasons, so when we go through, people go, why is it so important to have laundry soap? It's the biggest organ in your body. And we don't have that. We have natural to the point where you could consume it, I wouldn't. But nothing in there is gonna hurt you. And if it goes on your body, it's the same as it goes in your body. And again, I'm not, this isn't some, to bash our government, but they don't regulate shampoos, soaps, degreasers, they don't regulate them the same way because they say it's not consumable. You're not eating it,
It's eating you.
but it's eating you, okay? We did dark field microscopy. Okay, what that is they'll literally come along and they'll say, okay, we're gonna test your blood, and then we're gonna expose it to things, and then we'll check it about 30 minutes later. And they literally pull a little blood and they put it under a microscope, and you can see your cellular activity. It's the best way to describe it. Okay? And you can see the lining of the cells, and you can see if they're healthy linings or whatever else. And then what we used to do, then we go, okay, go wash some dishes. So they're soaking their hands. Then we'll come back a half an hour after you've done that, and we'll show the blood. So we'll videotape the blood, then we'll expose them to a toxin, because we all know, anybody who's into health understands that soap, whether it's dish soap, is a toxin. And literally you will see the cells slow You'll see the lining fragmented in the cell. You'll see them oblong. They're nice and round and active, but now they're exposed to soap that they didn't consume. They just wash dishes. And half an hour later, you're seeing the cells. Now, what really is, are you consuming it? Absolutely.
And that's just on a small portion.
And that's on a small portion of your body. On an area that's one of your least absorbing areas. You don't know, your hands on your body are the least absorbent area on your body. Mhm.
On purpose.
On purpose, right, because you're always doing stuff with it. Your skin tends to be less porous. You know, again, you can a lot of times see, you don't get goosebumps in your palm. Right? When you get goosebumps, be up your arm, that's an indication of porous. If you're ever wondering. There you go, you'd say you learned something. Sure, okay? So household is really, really critical. What are some other toxins that you want to eliminate? What's that?
I go like this and he says, you get goosebumps on your hands.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna go there, because my mind was in it. So what are some other toxins you need to replace and eliminate? What? Nutrition ones.
Oh, yeah.
Preservatives. Caffeine. Pop. High fructose corn syrup. Okay? So let's talk real quick before we wrap up today. Let's talk about some things to eliminate. Let me find my article. I've got it in a different spot. Give me 1 second. What's that? The white devil. Eliminate sugar.
How about alcohol?
Alcohol is sugar, but alcohol. Where's my article?
Bread.
Bread. What's the best thing we get out of bread? I've told you guys lots and lots and lots. What's the best thing you get out of bread?
Painful slow death.
That's not the best thing. That's supposed to.
Plastic bag.
Plastic.
Oh.
Preservatives. Chemicals. That's the best thing you get out of bread. And flavor. Bread is as white devil as sugar. It's horrible for the human body. Horrible, horrible, horrible. What'd you say?
I said even my omega-3 organic bread.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you're gonna have it, if you're gonna have bread, the way Mark is making, it's Mark, right?
Yeah.
The way Mark's making it is better. He's making his own bread. He's probably using more organic ingredients, those kind of things. But still, bread by its nature is not a healthy item. People go, oh, I need the fiber. No, you don't need the fiber from bread. There's about 400 things I could give you that would be a lot better fiber. But I will tell you, there is nothing better on a brat than homemade bread. I mean, it's just brats and bread go together, right? A burger is good in lettuce, but it's better in a really good bun. So again, if you're going to have bread, have it more ideal, but still bread by its nature is not a healthy item. I love these nutrition, oh, you got to have your grains. For what? I've yet to see one research that says, the actual clinical study using their own verbiage against them. There hasn't been one. It's just people are just, it's nature. Anyway, you give me all credit. All right, so we talked about carbonated drinks. Dairy is an inflammatory
Why is that?
because we homogenize, pasteurize it, make it an acid.
Otherwise it'd be fine.
Well, it's still level of mucus, even in milk. I mean, it's kind of a mucus product. So I mean, but
It's weird how it gets
Yeah.
there.
For some reason, some of it's different though, like milk is worse than cheese.
yeah. Well, there's enzymes, generally speaking, and
The bacteria.
in the bacteria in cheese that's not in milk. Because we pasteurize homogenized milk, there's literally no living matter. It's an open-ended calcium. It's an acid. It literally is an acid. Okay? You think because it has calcium in it, it's alkaline? Because it's not. When you homogenize, you strip it, it's not, yeah, it's not the same as from the cow. Okay? Some other things that you want to eliminate. Anger.
So toxic.
I was gonna look over it.
Anger.
You kinda gave it away there.
Okay? If you're gonna eliminate something, try to work on anger. Now, yeah, learning how to handle stress or anger is really huge. And great example is my best friend. He has never learned, even though he's in his upper 50s, he's never learned how to handle his anger, ever. And when he gets revved up at work or something revs him up, his arthritis is astronomical. I mean, he talks about it, he goes, I can hardly get out of bed. I go, so what ticked you off at work? That's got nothing to do with it, though.
Alter City.
Yeah.
The other thing, anger, you go into depression from it too.
Yeah, well, part of the reason, when you're angry, you burn up a hormone, and that hormone is a joy hormone, which is related to what? Glutathione. All of us that have been around for a while have heard the story about Heath. Heath, because of Lyme, got arthritis. That arthritis, then the body's Lyme eats glutathione, because it doesn't allow the body to make glutathione. He was literally in a state of high stress, depression, and he was crabby all the time. Is he a lot better? Yeah, he should take glutathione even more though. If he was here, I would say the same thing. Okay? So learning how to handle stress. Okay? What are some other things you need to eliminate? What's that?
Environment.
Well, environment. I mean, there's certain, you can't really eliminate the environment, but here's some things that I would say to eliminate that I would, from a real easy sense of. Eliminate all juices that you buy in a store. It's just sugar water. There's no enzymatic factor, no enzyme, it's pure acid. Enzymes make something alkaline. No enzymes, same product, acidic. Give you an example. Oranges. You peel a good orange, it's not a GMO, a traditional orange, really sweet. You consume it, your body raises its alkalinity. Take that same orange, peel it, do everything you did, blend the heck out of it, still alkaline, but drink it an hour later. All those enzymes are now dead. What is it? It's an acid. Exact same orange. Okay? You want living critical. Okay? So if you buy a juice, can we all agree it's probably more than an hour old? Okay? If it's over an hour old,
Well, I was just gonna say, when we were at the state fair together, I went to the booth that had fresh juice. And I thought, like, they were gonna squeeze it in front of me. And I bought it, and he pulls that out of the fridge all bottled up, and here you go. And I'm like, I thought it was fresh. Well, yeah, it's from a local company and whatever. I mean, they get their shipment daily or whatever, but I'm like, not what I want.
if it's more than an hour old, those enzymes have been exposed to nature, and they did what they did. They took chemicals out of the air, they got exposed, therefore they then died. They lived their life cycle. Living good. You can juice it, or smash it, and then drink it. Juice good. If you buy it in a bottle, it's more than an hour old, not so good. And it's funny how extreme this will be. Again, we were down in Jamaica for my sister-in-law's wedding. And I would literally go to the guy, he'd come around, he goes, oh, fresh. I go, how fresh? He goes, I literally just did it, Mom. Right? You get the whole Jamaican. I can't really do Jamaican, but just go with me on it. And he goes, freshest juice in Jamaica. Less than an hour old? And he goes, yeah, man. I said, I'll let you know. And I could taste the difference. You can literally, when you're drinking them so close to, you can taste the difference. And I will tell you, most of the time, once they knew, because I would tip them. Because they wouldn't, they were selling these bottles, $3 a bottle, fresh juice, but if it was under an hour old, I'd give them $5. And $2, a big deal down there. So that guy, there were times I would see him smashing them, and then coming over for his extra $2. I kid you not. We were down there for 8 days, and I will tell you, I had the freshest orange juice on the beach. But I could taste the difference, and you can. If you get it that regular, you'll taste it. If it's more than an hour old, it'll taste weird. It'll taste sugary, where the other one just tastes, oh, it's wonderful. It was crazy. Okay.
I can tell that with fresh lemon with my water. Like towards the end of the day, if I keep staying lemons in my container, it's like not as good. So I cut fresh lemons throughout the whole day.
Okay, last thing I'll talk about real quick. When we talk about eliminating toxins, you should detox. Okay? Ideally, you should take 2 days a month and not have any solid foods. Basically, you're going on a nature-rich fast or some sort of nutritional fast. We're not the only company that has products, but you should go on pure nutrition, non-digestion required food, or minimal digestion. What you're really doing is de-stressing your intestinal system. Okay, that's a big one. Your intestine, you'd be amazed how much stress it goes under. Okay? And I'll share Becca's story real quick. But Becca's been eating really clean for her competition. She got a pro card, by the way. Congratulations. We're all proud of her. But she ate really clean. And then, like typical, when you go and you win your pro card, you win 2 first place, and you do all these cool things, what do you do afterward?
Splurge.
Yeah, you splurge, because she ate super disciplined for months on end. Except for those cheat days. There were a few extras. Yeah. Okay?
I needed them.
It's called survival. For us. Okay? How long did it take for your back pain to come back?
Less than 24 hours.
Less than 24 hours. So for weeks, no back pain. Prior to her eating really clean, back pain all the time. Remember, it got so bad, she literally she skipped her own chiropractor and went to Christina, which is way up north, instead of who she normally goes to. Said, I can't take it anymore. And I was going, you need to see Christina. If you can't get into yours, you need to go up there. I know she's further away, but just deal with it. Okay? To not having pain for weeks and weeks on end, to less than 24 hours back pain. Why? She ate unhealthy, had a couple of cold beverages, probably more than an hour old. Maybe even a little fermented. And the back pain came back in less than 24 hours. That's not because the fermented stuff, it's not even the food itself, it's what the food and that fermented stuff did to her intestinal system, that inflammation, all of a sudden the back pain came back. That's how it works. So at least 2 days every 30 days. If I'm working with somebody who's dealing with arthritis, I'm going, look, this is part of your regimen. You're going to live on Nature Rich, if you're working with me, you're going to live on Nature Rich for those 2 days. Nothing but those kind of smoothies that Mike made. And you're going to come out of those 2 days and you're going to notice a great reduction in inflammation. Every time people are doing it, they're having a great reduction in inflammation. Part of it is a lot less stress in the immune system, and part of it is they've given their body super high levels of what? The building blocks required to repair.
So is it supposed to be 2 days in a row?
Yes, ma'am. 2 full days, nothing but clean water and our product. And when I say clean water, it always has neutralizer. To me, clean water has neutralizer. I don't care what system you have. I don't care if it adds alkalinity. It has minerals in it, because I know that's how water's supposed to be. Okay? So they're getting super high levels of this for 2 days, because if you're not eating, you're taking a lot of our stuff. They're drinking greens because they want something. But I'll tell you, by the second month, they look forward to the fasting days. But it's 2 days. Let your body heal. You don't have to. We've been trying to talk Madden for months into doing a 30-day fast with us. He won't. We even said we'll even do it for 2 weeks. He wouldn't do it. But you could do 2 days.
I'm up for an hour.
Yeah.
I've been building.
Yeah. There you go. When we started, it was 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know. But it's really important that you give your body, because what happens is now your intestinal system isn't irritated, it isn't getting beat to heck. Now it can do what it's supposed to do, which is really almost your entire immune system. Now it can send those resources in to repair the part that's being inflamed. And Becca's a great example of what happens where you eat really clean, no back pain. I mean, nothing. Didn't hear her complain one time. She's working out, drinking 2 gallons of water. We talk all the time, and literally no complaint about her back. To within 24 hours of eating, putting that and taxing that immune system, which is really your intestinal system. As soon as that was attacked, the body went, whoa, back pain. What is the back pain really telling Becca? Go back to eating clean. You eat clean, I don't cause pain. You eat like crap, I'll cause pain. Just direct correlation, yeah, Mike.
That happened to me too with the 30-day, 5 days in, my back pain went, for the next 25 days I didn't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
But about a week later it was back again,
Yeah.
after we were done.
I remember when we did that, and I remember him talking about it, and it's all that is because of that inflammation to the intestinal system, it comes out in where the inflammation was. You give the body, you don't tax that intestinal system, it now has the resources to heal and take care of that pain. So again, I'm saying minimally 2 days, but if you have somebody, again, not now, but if I would have met Mark when he was at his peak of pain, peak of dealing with stuff, I'd say, Mark, here's the deal, for 25 days, you eat, but you're gonna eat alkaline. For 5 days or 7 days, whatever I can get, whatever his commitment level is, like with Matt, we tease Matt, hey, you're up to an hour, let's shoot for 2, +1, remember? So when we get to 2 hours, great, Matt, and when he gets comfortable with that, great, you know what? Let's shoot for 4. Let's push a little bit, right? Take where somebody's at and try and help them to the next level. Don't shove them to the next level, okay? If Matt said, yeah, I'm in for, I could do a couple days, awesome, Matt, let's start with 2 days. Because I know it's not something comfortable for him, right? But help people get to that next level. But if I were with Mark when he was at his peak, I'd say, hey, we're going to go through all of these, but you're going to detox, because you're taking 2,400 milligrams of ibuprofen. You've got a heap load of a pain going on. That isn't a gentle deal. So let's shoot for 5 days. And if they're in that level of duress, that commitment level is pretty high. Or he's given up hope. There's no in between really when somebody's at that level. They're going, I'll try anything. And usually at that point, even tough, burly, strong, big guys like Mike, even some of them, you'll bring them to tears. Dude, I'm willing to try anything. If you're saying I got hope, they'll literally all of a sudden just break down for one word. They got hope. I don't know if it's work, but and they usually add something colorful. I won't, but they usually are very expressive outside my language comfort zone up here. But and I've had big guys come up. That are non-huggers, because I'm kind of a hugger since I married my wife. They'll come up and they'll literally hug you just for a shot of not having that pain. They haven't even experienced nothing yet. They haven't gone through any of these 5 pillars. But you're telling them we got a good shot. And so it's really important, okay? Now what's one of the things you're going to figure out in all of this? When you're doing this, weight won't be a problem. I'm surprised none of you said lose weight. Arthritis and weight gain is a big one. As a matter of fact, even though all of my measurements, my cholesterol, my heart, my blood pressure, all those things said I was in my 20s, one of the things he said, if you continue to carry 30 extra pounds, you're going to get arthritis in your knees and ankles. Literally, that's what he goes, I don't have any pain, any of those kind of things. He goes, you can't continue to carry that weight and not eventually catch up with you.
Stress.
It just puts a lot of pain. And for every pound that you're carrying above the belt, it's 3 to 4 pounds of pressure. 3 pounds on your knees, 4 pounds on your hips. It's a lot of extra excess pressure, leverage, like the bad bicep curl. Next time you see somebody like this, tackle them. Be less painful for them. Any questions? I threw a lot at you, and I really, really wanted to finish by 9. We're 10 minutes early on. stoked. Not like me to finish early. Did we cover it well? Here's my goal. Whether or not you haven't figured this out, one, obviously take our products. All of these things are in here. And it's not because they're in here, because remember I said one of the things I would add is ginger. As far as a supplement, I would definitely add ginger with something I would supplement within my diet. We didn't sell anything with ginger. Okay? But ginger is really, really important to health. It's also wonderful anti-cancer, I mean, you can just continue to go down the list. Ginger is wonderful, yeah.
So you like ginger, I hate ginger, how would you recommend I consume ginger in order to
Yeah.
just
Yeah, again, garlic is wonderful. That'd be another one. We don't sell garlic. There's ways of hiding ginger. Some of his recipes, or if you go to our recipe stuff, you can add a little ginger and you never taste it.
Did you blend it
Yeah, absolutely.
with cinnamon?
Yeah, with cinnamon. Cinnamon's really good for you. Cinnamon is another one.
She put
Yep,
cinnamon.
and cinnamon's another one that, again, that's one that's on my list. I didn't remember. Cinnamon, garlic, ginger, those are not, that we don't sell, but those are all things that if you do your research, you'll see in arthritis, you'll all see in getting rid of cancer. Okay?
I think you can put it in tea.
Absolutely, put it in a tea, but she doesn't like ginger.
Well, you said I couldn't cook it,
Yeah, you don't want to heat it.
cause I.
Heating is not an ideal way to do anything. But, I mean,
So what about meat?
yeah, what's that?
What about meat? How do you eat meat without cooking?
You do cook it, just realize, protein doesn't cook up. Protein is not a living matter, but, you know, steaming is a much better way to cook meat. Then would be, not with oil. Like people go, well, how do you cook a burger without adding oil? Well, that's easy, just put it in water.
Oil.
Cook in water.
Boiled chicken.
You boil chicken, no.
Actually, I'm kinda liking it.
Yeah, you like it.
Then you would suggest going to White Castle.
Yeah, there you go.
Then,
Healthy.
That would detox you.
They give you the zooms.
It zooms.
Oh no.
Yes. Okay, real quick, obviously we've got a training this Saturday, that you'll see. Afterward, we'll be putting this order together, and we're having a lot of fun with that. In the morning, we're gonna have, just to give you a reminder, oh, and Gus, you don't have yours up there yet. Okay, make sure to add your topic. Who else? Everybody else got theirs up there? I think so. We're gonna do a very generic, here's our products, you know, why, you know, we'll talk about laundry soap, I'll talk about I mean, it'll be a very generic, I've got Miss Christina Mickelson gonna help me with that. I've got some question and answer for her. So you're gonna hear a holistic chiropractor's point of view on some things. It'll be kind of an interview. We will start at 9 o'clock. Not 9:10, like we started a little bit late, so I knew my time frame. We will start at 9, okay? We will be done at 10. Why? Because otherwise we won't get out of here until 8 o'clock at night. A lot of stuff to cover. So, anyway, that's this Saturday. I'm really looking forward to it. Next month in November, we have the what days?
21st.
21st and 17th. 17th, we're gonna do cancer. And I'm gonna do one up, and you guys, you'll get kind of the first taste of that, be more in depth. But I'm gonna lay it out there, and if you heard me talking before, cancer is not a disease. It's not. Cancer is simply a symptom of poor choices. It's a side effect. And they say, depending on who you talk to, between 97 and 98% of all cancer is preventable. It's choice. And so, once you know how it's created, you can know how to eliminate it. Okay, poison is how it's created, so poison is certainly not the solution. So, I've been reading a lot of people that have been stage 4 cancer and how they turn their life around, got life. Again, you'll see a lot of the 5 pillars. Health is health. It doesn't change. Cancer or arthritis doesn't change, but obviously there's some things within cancer that will be different. So, thanks. We have this coming up Saturday, but I'm just giving you what's coming up in the next month.